Tonight, live here on KMTV. I'm Ollie Leader, and here are your top stories on Thursday, the 26th of June. The end for Medway Industry. Council signs up for controversial plan on future housing. More Than a Marketplace. Kent's newest indoor market hopes to bring some life back to Folkestone High Street. And Pedalling for Purpose. Amputee Hero leads veteran ride from Aylesford to Belgium. Now first, tonight, campaigners warn the writing is on the wall for industry in Medway as the council approved a plan to determine housing for the coming decades. The local plan helps the council allocate where housing will be built, with thousands of homes expected to be built everywhere from Hoo to the Capstone Valley. The Labour leader says the plan is a necessity, even as opposition councillors warn of strained infrastructure. I was there last night for the local Democracy Reporting Service.
Save Chatham Docks! Save Chatham Docks!
Anger at a special council meeting to determine the future of Medway's housing, with councillors fiercely debating the draft local plan designed to allocate where housing will be built and guide council planning decisions, with many voicing fears for the future of industry in the 5 towns.
We started this campaign back in 2017, and everyone that I was talking to then said, no, there's no way Chatham Docks would be shut. You know, it's too vital and economic importance to Medway towns. It's not going to shut, and here we are now under threat of it closing, and all these people behind me and their families losing their jobs.
National housing targets mean Medway Council is required to provide more than 1,600 homes a year until 2041. That's more than 24,000 homes in the next 15 years. The question is whether Medway can cope.
A critical concern for us is infrastructure. We're concerned about those critical road junctions. We're concerned about the lack of investment into infrastructure around our medical facilities. And of course, thirdly, we've got those really sort of wide concerns, as we laid out, about our railway services, about providing the infrastructure that we need for the long term to cope with an additional 50,000 residents coming into Medway.
But despite opposition anger, for the Labour leader, the plan is a necessity to meet local needs.
Tonight, one of the things I was thinking about throughout the whole evening, actually, we've got nearly 1,000 children in temporary accommodation in Medway tonight. That's not acceptable. So having a plan in place, how we will get the infrastructure in place, the key things like education, but also, of course, the homes that are so desperately needed for Medway residents, that's what I think everyone's been thinking about tonight.
Having been voted through, the plan will now be put to public consultation before going to the Planning Inspectorate for the final decision. Only then will Medway's housing future be set in stone. Ollie Leader in Chatham. Now, a mum from Ashford says she's relieved after the government scrapped plans to overhaul disability benefits. Vicky Adams feared her son Lucas would lose nearly £6,000 a year on the changes to personal independence payments. Lucas, 17, has a rare condition, autism, and uses a prosthetic leg. He relies on PIP to live independently. But a Number 10 spokesperson said they've listened to concerns and the move will protect for those already in the system, whereas stricter rules could still apply to new claimants.
I don't believe I should have to not live without it, because that's just not fair. Because how am I supposed to do my basic day stuff when I struggle doing it, even with the PIP? It's going to be even worse without it. Also, one of the other things is it helps me get new clothes, because my clothes with my leg, I can go through multiple pairs of clothes just because of the way my leg rubs against my clothes and it rips them. So without that PIP there...
Now, 5 guinea pigs have been found dumped in a cardboard box on a street in Ashford, suffering from a range of untreated health issues. discovered by residents in Adams Drive. They were taken to the RSPCA where vets found parasites, overgrown nails and teeth and serious injuries, including an abscess and an eye condition requiring surgery. They're now receiving urgent treatment. The charity is appealing for anyone who recognises them to please get in touch. Now, it's been nearly 2 years since Wilko stores left our high streets across Kent, leaving empty units across the county. Although some stores may have been taken over by other household names, a more unique option has emerged in Folkestone, as Finn McDermott reports.
When you think of a modern high street, you might think of barbers, vape shops and chain fast food. But one new shop is hoping to add some colour to the community and help small, local businesses at the same time.
We've already got a Ramsgate Petticoat Lane Emporium, and it's out of town. It's been very successful. It's been running 10 years. Very proud of that. But when the opportunity came to do one in a high street, and of course the high streets are suffering massively, and we're all guilty. We're all guilty of that because we shop online. But people still want somewhere to go. They want somewhere to go out. Folkestone was very much on that target. Because it seems to be an up-and-coming town. It's very artisan, a lot of creativeness, a lot of positivity.
The Emporium houses many small stalls operated by businesses from Folkestone and across the country, which were selected based on their creativity and individuality.
Now each of the stalls are only about as big as my wingspan, but there's plenty of them packed here into the old Wilko's. And there's almost a statement to be made, a closed shop now housing something different and new.
This includes a local couple from Folkestone who share a stall selling their quite different products.
Derek photographs folks and I kill people there. It's just kind of how we roll.
I think it's the fact that you had this great big empty Wilko's building, which has been for the last year or so. It's great that they've actually managed to use it for something creative and give all the people here in Folkestone an outlet.
High streets are dying, and while we will always be at the market, we wanted to be in the town centre as well because it's important to regenerate, as far as I'm concerned, the town centre. So it's really important to us, to live in the town, to give something back.
And they aren't the only ones. Lizzie paused her illustration business after getting married and having children, but says the Emporium meant she could easily pick up where she left off.
So I decided to join the Emporium here because I just like the vibe. There's lots of artists, lots of creatives, and I'm just giving it a go. So I'm jumping feet first, being brave and being bold and showcasing my work. I think what is really good is small businesses supporting small businesses. So just meeting my neighbours in this pitch here has been really cool, and we've got artists and people who sell antiques and vintage, and I absolutely love it. It's inspiring. It gives life to an old building.
Rather than making a profit, the Emporium says it wants to support local businesses and show that Folkestone's culture is just as colourful as its seafront. Finn McDermott for KMTV in Folkestone.
Now, temperatures are set to soar over the weekend, with Dartford set to hit a scorching 33 degrees by Monday. Blimey! In response, officials have issued amber heat health alerts, which came into effect today and will remain in place until 6 p.m. on Tuesday. The second alert to hit Kent in just 2 weeks. And here to tell us a little bit more about the weather and how to stay safe is Kristen Hawthorne. Kristen, for some, the weather will be lovely, but it can pose some risks. Break down what this health alert means and what people can do to stay safe at home.
So to give you a bit of a rundown initially, something that I found quite interesting was the first heat health alert that was announced on June 19th. That was the first time it'd been used since September 2023. So we're certainly having a huge heat wave. But on Monday, it's expected to reach to 33 degrees. Canterbury is predicted to hit 32 degrees on the same day, so that's Monday. The heat health alert basically says that there is a risk to humans. There could be a rise in deaths, particularly among those aged 65 and over or with health conditions. Another thing that I found was quite interesting that I didn't know was the National Pharmacy Association has advised patients to store their medicines away from heat zones and direct sunlight, warning that they could lose effectiveness or cause unwanted side effects.
So I've got to the shops, I've bought myself a bunch of ice cream to keep cool, but is that what we should be doing to prepare at home? Is there anything a bit more scientific we can be doing to keep ourselves safe in the sunshine?
Well, of course, if you're south facing and the sun is blasting through your window, close your curtains throughout the day just so that you don't have that heat building up. You can get a fan. You could even spray yourself exposed skin with a little bit of water. Stand in front of the fan. That's quite good. Get things like ice lollies, plants as well. Inside the home, we're supposed to cool it. Any shade, any coolness that you can feel, certainly go for it.
Because obviously, the big advice would probably be to stay indoors. If you're feeling a bit too hot, cool down in your living room, may put a movie or something on. But for some people, they want to go out and enjoy the sun. How can people stay safe out and about on the beaches of Kent, in the parks? What can they do?
Well, so if you are in those sort of vulnerable categories, you stay inside, stay cool from 11 to 3 p.m. Outside those times, you could go to the beach in the morning, have a nice time, walk around, have a dip in the ocean, and then after that time, you can do the same thing. Check on your friends and family who are maybe also vulnerable. But yeah, like I said, just have ice lollies, keep yourself cool, spray yourself down with water, and drink lots of water in general, and cut down alcohol consumption.
And how important is a bit of sun cream as well? Because I know me, I always get a bit of sunburnt when I'm out and about.
Of course, sunscreen is very, very important. SPF 30 plus if you can, but any sort of sunscreen should be good.
Perfect, Kristen. We're using all of that advice to keep myself cool on the beach this weekend and about the house as well. Thank you so much for all of those details. Well, still to come after the break, with over 50,000 veterans living in Kent, we explore why so many face mental health battles in silence, how treatment can offer real hope.
Become a Kent Online subscriber for unlimited access to award-winning journalism from across the county. Browse the premium version of our website with no intrusive ads for uninterrupted scrolling on your desktop, mobile or tablet. Enjoy unrivaled coverage of news, sport and leisure in Kent, including content exclusive to subscribers. Read fascinating features in our in-depth section and head down memory lane by delving into our decades archive. Keep up to date with politics in Kent and Westminster and the latest on and off the field with our extensive sports coverage, including specialist Gills reporting. Enjoy weekly digital editions of all KM titles and swipe for the same page-turning experience as the newspaper. Download, share and print out the pages you want and tackle fun puzzles such as crosswords and Sudoku. Plus, unlock our extensive archive of past papers stretching back more than 10 years. Becoming a subscriber is easy. Visit kentonline.co.uk and click the subscribe tab at the top right of the screen. Choose the package that suits you with options to pay monthly or annually. Once you've signed up, check your email for a thank you message from us and details on how to get the most out of our subscription. Kent Online, news you can trust.
Hospital visits will be dramatically reduced.
And there's something about time in Imagining Autism. I call it a nowhere.
I completely adapted to being a hidden away rural homeless person. The system can't and doesn't cope with rural homelessness at all.
And I think that's a big barrier to young disabled people in terms of their aspirations and accessing science.
I think the Eco-Parakeet is a great symbol for what we should be doing on Mauritius, what we can do elsewhere in the world.
This is like a picture of me and my cousins when we was in Albania back to my nan's house.
Mirë, vëmë të keme me menu me menjen tonë edhe me pa momentin e dur që kur me ik edhe policisë.
The Kent Politics Show, live on KM TV. Join us every week with an array of guests.
I think the boundary changes have changed a great deal in Kent.
The Conservative administration have delivered the lowest council tax in Kent. We will continue to do that.
Discussing the things that matter most to you.
People do feel like they've been ignored by this government.
We do need something else to supplement wind and solar.
Catch the Kent Politics Show, only on KM TV. Hello and welcome back to Kent Tonight, live here on KMTV. Now, it is Armed Forces Day tomorrow, and with more than 50,000 veterans living in Kent, one mental health charity is urging greater understanding of the hidden battles faced by ex-service personnel. It says most veterans will wait over a decade to seek help for PTSD, yet few people realise that. But recovery is possible, with treatment 7 in 10 no longer meet the clinical criteria for PTSD. To discuss this more, I'm joined virtually by Chloe Mackay, CEO of Combat Stress. Chloe, thank you for joining us. It's a really important issue. And can you walk us through what this research uncovered?
So, thank you. Good evening. We found when we did the research that few veterans and the general public generally understood how long it took to get help for combat stress. It takes, as you've said, up to about 13 years to come to combat stress for help, which is a really long time, during which veterans' lives suffer very greatly from the impacts of PTSD. It can cause family relationship breakdown. It can cause difficulty holding down a job. So it's a very serious illness, and it's really sad that people wait so long to get diagnosed.
I have to ask, why do so many of our veterans wait over a decade before reaching out for help?
I think it's a couple of reasons. So firstly, the symptoms aren't always obvious. It's not always obvious that what's going on is PTSD. We think about the classic nightmares and flashbacks that PTSD can cause, and those are probably quite well understood. But there can be symptoms that are much more akin to other mental health problems, such as anxiety and depression. And there can be issues just with anger and sleep that people don't necessarily know are down to their mental health at all. And I think a second factor that plays into that is the culture of the armed forces and the ability of those who've served in the armed forces to cope with adversity and to carry on despite the fact that they are suffering. So that probably elongates the amount of time before people come forward for treatment.
It's terrible, and I do want to know, because obviously you mentioned some of the symptoms there, but are there any lesser known telltale signs of PTSD that veterans that might at home might be experiencing that might be a signal for them to get support?
I mean, I think the difficulty with the relationships, feeling difficulty being close to people. I think the difficulty with crowds is quite a key issue. And sometimes we have one veteran who came to us and he wasn't able to go to his children's sports day because of the difficulty with being in a crowd. And that sort of difficulty can really lead to family breakdown. So if there are things in life that if a veteran notices, or their partner, their family notices, and friends notice, then reach out to Combat Stress. We're here. We have a team of mental health professionals who are expert in assessing when what's going on is down to PTSD.
It's good to know that people can get help for this, Chloe. Thank you for joining us on our programme. It's a really important issue, and hopefully people do reach out to you.
Thank you, Ollie.
Now, don't forget to keep up to date with all your latest stories from across Kent by logging on to our website. That's kmtv.co.uk. There you'll find all our reports, including this one of the Pride festivities in Canterbury.
June marked the start of Pride Month, a month taken to celebrate everyone in the LGBTQIA+ community. And here in Kent, there aren't a short of celebrations. Now, despite the gloomy weather, it seems nothing is going to rain down on this parade. As you can see, hundreds are lining the streets to celebrate Canterbury Pride. Canterbury Pride is one of the county's biggest celebrations for this month, and this year will be their 10th one, although it looks quite different to the others, as this year they've had to move due to construction.
We've got a temporary home over here in the Westgate Gardens, but it's still as busy. We're seeing thousands of people coming. It's more of a festival kind of feel, so we're actually in two parts of the Westgate Gardens. We've got Bit and Toddler's Cove, which is a lot of our family stalls, we've got bouncy castles, people like Kent Fire and Rescue and the police. We've got a wedding chapel where people can come and get unofficially married. We've got an area where you can write a note to yourself and we'll send it back to you in the future. And so it's just a really lovely, calm, friendly vibe today.
While I was there, I also asked people at the event what pride means to them. What does pride mean to you?
Everything. It's showing up for yourself and it's showing up for your community.
Pride is like inclusivity, everybody's welcome, you know, no one's judged, it's a judge-free zone.
It's a protest. It's really important that we keep Pride like a positive, welcoming space for everybody, because it's the sort of thing that a lot of people here don't get that a lot of the year round.
Acceptance, visibility, and kind of being who you are.
Someone to come where they feel comfortable and appreciate love is love at the end of the day.
Pride is really important to us because we're an inclusive organisation.
I feel like I'm with people that know kind of what I'm going through in a way, and how proud it is to be different, that you don't have to hide yourself.
In a time when politically and socially it's a bit tenuous at the moment, it's nice that we can be visible. It's about putting on a bit of colour, coming out, reminding people that we still need to carry on. Whilst we've come so far, and a lot of people are very grateful, we still have to keep those rights and keep pushing for the rights of those who are less, you know, who don't have as many as we do.
It's clear that this festival was more than just a rainbow of colours, as Canterbury stands together with pride. Kai Wei for KMTV in Canterbury.
Now, stunning drone footage reveals the crumbling remains of Charing Palace, once fit for royalty, now in ruins. The Grade 1 listed site near Ashford, visited by King Henry VIII, is undergoing a major £300,000 restoration work backed by historic England. Scaffolding props up the weather barn, parts of the roof are missing, and warning signs mark the danger inside. It's been on the Heritage at Risk register for years, but campaigners hope this work will help bring it back to life. We wish them all the best. Now, a mum from Folkestone was left terrified after spotting what she thought was a tornado outside her window. Sarah Jade was watching EastEnders when she saw the funnel cloud moving across the sky near Capel Le Fern. Her daughter Emma said she was absolutely terrified, but experts believe it was a harmless funnel cloud, not a tornado. Well, did you see it? If so, let us know and send your video to us at kmtv.co.uk. We might even feature them next week. So will we be seeing any wacky weather this weekend? Let's take a look, shall we? Now, a mix of cloudy and clear skies this evening. Temperatures around 17 in Canterbury and Dover. Going into tomorrow, lots of cloud and sunshine across the county. 22 degrees up in Margate. Going to the afternoon, it's really heating up. 27 degrees in Maidstone. Get that sun cream on, people. And for the beginning of next week, those temperatures are going to be climbing. 34 degrees on Monday. That is going to be a warm beginning to next week. And finally, a former Gurkha and double above-the-knee amputee, Harry Buda-Margar from Kent, has set off on a 150-mile ride to Belgium. Hans cycling alongside fellow veterans to honour the fallen and raise funds for those still living with the scars of service. The Tommy Ride has been taking place for 8 years now, and its journey peddles a powerful message for remembrance of resilience and support for veterans past and present, as Gabriel Morris has been finding out.
You might mistake it for a start of a race, but these riders aren't chasing medals, they're riding with memory. In the 8th annual Tommy Ride, more than 40 cyclists are setting off from Aylesford to Belgium. Leading the pack is Harry Buda-Margar, a former Gurkha and the first double above-the-knee amputee to summit Mount Everest.
That's handbrake, that's a brake as well, and there's a gear on here. So,
unlike the others, Harry powers his trike by hand, and it's his first time taking part.
Last year I came to start this event, and this year I think I should get involved and support to RBLI for whatever they do. They do amazing job to support our veterans. So I come here to support RBLI, and RBLI can support our veterans.
He's joined by 3 former colleagues, all 4 losing limbs to IEDs in the same week in Afghanistan 15 years ago.
I got injured in second operational tour. I almost completed like almost 2.5 months during the tour, and I got injured.
Is that? I understand you and Harry both lost your legs in the same operation. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Me and Harry injured before me, and I injured later on around half of my tour.
Some of today's riders work at the RBLI factory. While many are veterans, others are simply here to support and raise vital funds.
We're hoping to raise over £80,000, and the money raised will go to supporting what you see here on the village, so that's homes, support and work opportunities for some of our veterans who need it the most.
And that's really important, isn't it?
Absolutely important. Here at the village we look after around 300 veterans and their families, and we provide work opportunities, we provide the support that they need to get back on their feet and where they need to be.
The group left at breakfast time, heading to Dover and across the Channel to Calais, where they'll spend the night. Tomorrow they'll complete the journey through World War I